Guys, I am born and raised in Dallas Fort Worth, but if I were moving to Dallas Fort Worth today, I would be very nervous when I had a look and saw just how many places there is to live in DFW. Lots of different school districts, lots of highways. It's enough to make you go insane. That's why today I am breaking down DFW in a way that you will rarely see, from highways and traffic, from the most popular parts of DFW to the attractions of DFW, to help you really figure out the lifestyle that you want to live here when you are moving. So let's get into the map. This is an in-depth dive into Dallas Fort Worth, and I can't wait to show it to you. Before we can get too deep into the map, it'll be really important for you to understand how Dallas and Fort Worth work with each other, and it'll be really important for you to understand our highways and how DFW is built. This will very much help you understand where you can fit in. So, of course, we have downtown Dallas, and we've got downtown Fort Worth over here. There's a few different highways that connect the cities, the main of which, from downtown to downtown, is going to be I-30. And I-30 kind of has another name, the Tom Landry Freeway or Highway. No one calls it that. But you'll see his fedora on the bridges and along the highway. Now, there's not a lot of distance, believe it or not, between Dallas and Fort Worth. 20-25 miles. Like, it's just not all that far. In addition to I-30, let's kind of talk about a little bit north of that. Okay, so there's actually 183, which can get you from Dallas County into Tarrant County. I mean, the county line kind of goes between, this is kind of like a separator between the two. Got Dallas County over here, Tarrant County over here. Well, 183 has been a very popular highway for decades. I mean, since before I was born, if not around the 1980s. I'm an 80s baby. But the reason I point out 183 is it's very important for its airport access from the south. DFW Airport is absolutely humongous. So 183 gives you direct access into DFW Airport from the south. And I'll show you that with as I kind of highlight this. You see DFW Airport right here, and you've got the terminals. You will definitely want to plan out as your family are flying in and out of DFW Airport. You'll want to kind of figure out which terminal that you are flying in and out of, and that may or may not help you decide whether you want to go in from the north or from the south. We can get into the structure of the airport, but it's 5 terminals. Here's A. Let's do B. Here's C. Here's D. And here's E. And we have the future F. Obviously, these guys are closer to the south. A and B are closer to the north, and it's a pretty big airport. It's like the second or third largest and one of the most busiest in the country. Well, you see what 183 means to that. It gives you access into the south part of DFW. Well, I bring that up as far as 183 will also take you through our mid-cities as well. So 183 takes you through Irving. HEB, not the grocery store. 183 cuts through HEB. That's Hearst, Euless, and Bedford. All right. Really important that you understand that. Another somewhat of a mid-cities town, city, if you will. It's kind of redundant to say that. It's going to be Arlington. Although it's truly not part of the mid-cities, it's further south. Really important that you understand that Arlington is directly in between Dallas and Fort Worth. Um, Same thing with Grand Prairie. I say when we look at these cities, you should understand that these have been stomping grounds for a long time. So they have lots of homes that go back to the 1950s and 60s. A lot of mid-century modern over there. All right, so you got 183, and in order to get to 183, from the downtown areas, you've got 35 that'll take you there, and 183. I mean, geez, you got 121 over here that'll help you get up to 183. Those are some like lesser important roads. Let's talk about the major ones that you're going to want to understand. So yeah, that'll get you from Dallas to Fort Worth. But let's talk about uh, the highway rings of Dallas and Fort Worth. All right. The first and most interior ring that there is going to be in Dallas, and this really helps if you are Dallas proper. We call it Loop 12. It takes on different names depending on the part of Dallas that you're in. All right. So on the north side, you've got Northwest Highway. It is Loop 12. Make no mistake about it. Loop 12 will go around the east side of Dallas. Uh, it is no longer Northwest Highway. Once it comes around the east side, it's Buckner Boulevard. Okay, comes around here to the south. Now we're getting through South Dallas and Oak Cliff. That's my hood. And it actually cuts through South Oak Cliff, where I spent a lot of time. Half of my life growing up was in South Oak Cliff. All right, so we're coming around through South Oak Cliff. And then South Oak Cliff, we all know that. That's Ledbetter. Loop 12 along the west side. This road, really important for you if you are looking to be in um, Dallas proper, because it gives you decent access into a lot of the neighborhoods. Keep in mind, there's shopping and dining in different parts, different restaurants throughout all the different neighborhoods in Dallas. Dallas really does have more than a couple hundred places to live if we include the suburbs and each of the areas within Dallas and within Fort Worth, the neighborhoods. Okay, so Oak Cliff is actually a sub city of Dallas. And then this is so weird. The maps got this wrong. It shows Oak Cliff as being right here, but actually, like no lie, Oak Cliff is like all of this. Okay, so the maps they got it wrong. Uh, let let's talk about that second ring, and that's going to be 635. Loop 12 is more of a regular road with stoplights. Okay, need you to know that it is not a major highway like 635. 635, there's no lights on 635. 635 is where you're gonna encounter very fast driving and a lot of the if you all have heard of the high five, this is a highway junction sometimes that has three, four, or in terms of high five, five layers of highway. One, two, three, four, five. The fifth one goes up, and like we're talking major changes, directional changes that I can show you. So as we approach here, let's see if I can show you what that looks like. Now, if you're new to the channel, I want to introduce myself, Tommy Wooten, putting the woot woot in real estate. Now, I got a question for you. Do you enjoy this map tour? If you would like perhaps a customized map and itinerary that suits your criteria, your timeline, I want you to scan the QR code, and it has the attractions, communities, and homes that are based on their house hunt. Now, if you want to reach out directly, that's fine as well. My telephone number is here at the bottom of the screen. If you like DFW content, go ahead and hit that like button, and YouTube will start sending you more. If you like this content, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. Now, let's get back to the map tour. Let's kind of show you what some of the highways look like, because guys, honestly, if you're not prepared for this, you will just not you won't appreciate how difficult it is for some people to drive here. All right, do you see what I'm talking about now? Like this is normal for us that live in Dallas. This is the high five, and there are 5 different layers of highways that help the people to go north, east, south, or west on 75, which we'll get to, and 635. All right, so, and honestly, it's like perfectly organized. Is it a traffic jam? Yes, but it gets us where we need to go. For me, it's easier than getting around in Houston. And thanks to these, we don't have the same traffic that Austin has. I have no idea what they're doing in South Texas. This is the right way to build a highway in a metropolis like Dallas Fort Worth. Okay, so there you kind of have it. That's the intersection I just showed you was 635 and 75. So that's this guy right here. All right, so in terms of the another ring, a big highway that goes around Dallas, it's mainly to, you know what? Let's talk about I-20. That 635 actually turns into I-20 on the south end. So 635 actually stops right here, and I-20 is a big truckers highway that goes out to East Texas, and it goes around the south end, and it does connect South Dallas to South Fort Worth and through Fort Worth, and it goes out towards Central Texas. I saw someone that was kind of bickering. The people that have not been here for a while, and even the realtors who are like kind of, you've only been here 10, 20 years, and honestly, getting stuff wrong, differentiating between North Texas and DFW, stop it. North Texas is DFW. It's the same thing. This is the exact, like, we call it North Texas. I don't know why we call it North Texas sometimes, and maybe because that's easy to help people understand. I had someone trying to tell me that this was North Texas. I was like, it's the Panhandle. Please stop. Like, we lay claim to the term North Texas. We go by DFW as well. Like, let's stop it. I don't understand the silliness there. But all that being said, another major ring that we have is going to be this third one that was built around the year 1999, 2000. This is going to be the President George Bush Turnpike. This, so far, is the only toll road that I have outlined here so far. Okay, so NTTA, when you move here, you're going to have to go to ntta.org. I highly recommend getting yourself a toll tag, and $40 at a time will get debited from your account as you use the our tollways here. All right, let's continue to talk about, and I'll pull up here's a tollway map so you can see where the tolls are. Not all these roads in these highways are tolls. All right, so that was the first one. All right, now let's talk about these roads that help you get through the growth corridor of Dallas. All right, so lots of growth out east through Forney. We've got I-30, which turns into Highway 80 coming out of downtown Dallas. 80 goes into Forney. I've just got to be honest with you. If we clicked on traffic right now, there's probably traffic on. There's probably traffic. It bottlenecks, and it stinks. We've moved a lot of people here. This is a highway that is getting widened as we speak. There's the bottleneck. It goes into Forney. Um, Forney's been a popular area for the past 15, 20 years, um, and it's going to continue to grow. Is this project late? Yeah, it is. But like I say, sometimes that progress is better late than never. And when you've got the kind of growth that they have out there, um, yeah, it's sometimes these things happen. So here we are on I-80, and we'll come back to Forney, but that is a major highway for those people that are choosing to live in Forney or Sunnyvale. Sunnyvale is less popular than Forney, but it's right there as well. Let's take off you know what? Let's leave on the traffic map. All right, because here we are. It's dang near rush hour as we speak right now, so this can help you a little bit. Um, Highway 30 goes up into, crosses Lake Ray Hubbard, goes into Rockwall, through Rockwall, up into Phaeton Royce City. Um, some of you are seeing some homes for sale on larger lots out in places like Nevada, Josephine. It's almost hard to call these towns parts of DFW. It's pretty difficult, but it's they're getting more popular. There's developers that are moving there, and they're building neighborhoods there. And I would say that people are buying them because we're talking DFW. All right, now out here is Greenville, not a part of DFW. That's not a DFW suburb. However, there's a neighborhood. There's a couple neighborhoods out there that are getting popular as well. They've got some new construction out there. All right, so um, let's talk about again more of the growth corridor, and we'll come to the Fort Worth side. I-75. I still have only mentioned one tollway, and that's George Bush. This guy. All right, so coming out of downtown Dallas, or it doesn't necessarily matter. It's not like you're driving back and forth to downtown Dallas, but let's talk about I-75. All right, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you can see. I-75 goes up to Oklahoma. All right, so here's the Texas-Oklahoma border. I-75 goes north and south from Oklahoma through Sherman, Van Alstyne, Melissa, McKinney, from McKinney to Fairview's kind of there, but it's definitely more east of 75. Allen, Plano, Richardson, and Dallas. That is the literal progression of how I-75 is from north to south. Okay, Anna, Melissa, McKinney, Allen, Plano, Richardson, Dallas. All right, that is not a tollway. Now, let's talk about that tollway. All right, the most popular tollway in DFW. It's going to be the Dallas North Tollway. We just call it the tollway. Straight up from downtown Dallas, through Dallas, into Addison, into Plano, then Frisco, then Prosper, extending into Celina, soon to be through Celina. It's not there yet, okay? But they're in the middle of widening it right now. All right, that's the other tollway. A third one that we have to discuss because it has to do with that north entry of DFW Airport. It's going to be 121. 121, here we are, DFW Airport. Here's 121 North. And it goes up through Carrollton. Let's start here. It goes up through North Irving into Coppell. So here's North Irving. Here's Coppell, right here, the north end of Coppell. Goes through Louisville, Carrollton, goes through the Colony, goes through Frisco, and through McKinney. Plano and Allen to the south, McKinney to the north. This is a divider that you all need to know. This slant right here in this major growth corridor, 121 is the separator between, like I said, McKinney to the north right here. So this is McKinney. This is like the divider of McKinney. And to the south, Allen. Allen's this area right here. It divides Plano right here. I just went down Preston. It divides Plano from Frisco. Okay, and Frisco is all this up here. Yeah, kind of go around the Colony. All right, so 121 is the divider. And then Carrollton, my home, born and raised. I'm a Carrollton guy. Shouts out to Carrollton. We'll talk a little bit more about Carrollton later. 121 is a major tollway, all right, because we need access. It's like the most major access for the North Dallas suburbs into DFW Airport. Now, 121 also goes south, as I pointed out, goes into Fort Worth, and it can be an artery for those in the mid cities. There's a lot of other highways we can talk about, guys. If you live on the Fort Worth side and you're in the North Fort Worth suburbs in Denton County or Tarrant County, 114, really important. Really important, all right? I suppose I'll explain a little bit of this. The traffic is getting to be too much for me. Let's talk about I-35. How can we're not forgetting about I-35. All right, so let's start from the north and go south. Coming from Oklahoma, this is where we expect a lot of the major growth to take place. People are, there's been some people that estimate by the year 2100 that Dallas will be connected to Oklahoma City, since there is nothing that stops that in all this land, creating another mega city. They expect that to happen along the I-35 corridor, which connects Dallas and Oklahoma City. This is the I-35 corridor. All right, this is a major highway. It even goes through Oklahoma City, and even further than that. So let's talk about what I-35 is for Dallas. Coming from the north, we should know that it cuts through Denton and separates into 35 East E and the 35W West. So did I really have to say that? I really didn't. I'm an over-explainer. So East cuts into downtown Dallas, and it goes through Denton, through Louisville. Highland Village is a very small town. It's on the map, yay, but it's kind of not on the map. No disrespect. Y'all aren't trying to catch strays, Highland Village, but honestly, there's like 100 people that live there. And 35W goes the opposite way and goes into Fort Worth. Now, we haven't talked a lot about Fort Worth. We talked about 20. We talked about how 30, it actually goes through Fort Worth and catches back up with I-20. But we got to talk about 820 as well. That is their loop. All right. They don't have as many loops, nor should they. Um, but that helps people from the suburbs, the first ring Fort Worth suburbs, your North Richland Hills, your Haltom cities. It helps to connect them with their stores and this and that. It's a major highway that does get people out of Fort Worth and helps them connect with the east and west highways 30. It helps them connect with 20, 183. It's really just a connector. All these are connectors. All right, so I think we've done a pretty good job of identifying a lot of the tollways. Again, I'll throw that up. We're not going to sit here and forget about the south part of DFW. So many people moving around DeSoto, Cedar Hill. So we've got 35 again. It goes all the way from Oklahoma through downtown Dallas, straight down through DeSoto into Waxahachie, and through Waxahachie takes you down to South Texas. 45 is that diagonal that comes from Dallas and it connects you to Houston. Goes way down there. And 67 goes through Cedar Hill, from Dallas through Duncanville, Cedar Hill, into Midlothian, all of which are connected by 287. And 287 goes through 35 and connects with 45. And there we have it. For the most part, I totally omitted Highway 380, which is an east-west corridor that, for those of us that are here, it's really just a connector that goes east and west from the heart of Collin County, McKinney, through some major, like heavy hitting suburbs, Frisco, Prosper, Celina, into the heart of Denton County. Okay, so 380 is a big highway that you may have heard about. Hundreds of thousands of people have moved into the growth corridor, which lays between, let's just go ahead and call it Princeton and Denton. And then we can go even down like this. That shape that I just drew is the part of DFW that has received the most growth. So knowing these cities and these highways and how they work with each other, that's definitely something that you need to familiarize yourself with if you're gonna move here. This kind of upside down, triangle or pie shape, whatever you want to call it, this is the major growth zone that I mentioned. And we're going to come back and talk about that because there's a lot of areas. If you've heard of Frisco, Prosper, Celina, Plano, we're going to talk about these areas here in a little bit. Now, guys, I've already gone ahead and labeled the airports. One thing that I didn't talk about in the intro was Love Field right here. Love Field Airport is right here in Dallas proper. It's very centrally located. It's Dallas's first airport, but as far as DFW or North Texas's airport, that would be DFW International. Flights going everywhere. It's the one that most of you will fly in and out of. Now, this is really important for you to understand as well. I'm not waiting to the end of the video to show you this. McKinney National Airport is about to get commercial flights. This is so amazing for the future of DFW, and especially the DFW northern suburbs. that's just going to be really big for the surrounding areas. Um, if you are a future homeowner in North Texas, uh, this is something that you're going to want to know about when you consider where to move. It's going to be really important for me to jump down here and talk to you guys about Dallas proper and some major attractions. For a lot of you, you're not going to get to see this stuff all that often, frankly. I mean, so here we are in downtown Dallas, and you should know that this is a major financial district. Uh, I mean, geez, any downtown area is like your business district. This is going to be downtown Dallas. Beautiful skyscrapers. Somewhat, if we look at this from a real estate standpoint, very high price per square foot. A lot of luxury condo buildings. Honestly, there's way more places to rent in downtown Dallas than there is to buy. That's kind of a shame. There's just not a ton of places to buy in downtown Dallas. Here's downtown Dallas, and it's actually uh, divided. There's some neighborhoods within downtown Dallas. Let's talk about that. All right. So the West End, a really cool place where honestly, geez, again, me and my wife got engaged in the West End. Went to a lot of parties in the West End. This is a dining district that I think you guys will kind of enjoy. No, this is me leaving the West End. I need to go deeper into the West End. We're really not far from place like Dealey Plaza, the site of JFK, the JFK assassination. We don't really like to talk about that in Dallas. I'll just go ahead and tell you. A lot of the restaurants are down this way. This is the old spaghetti warehouse, and I'll be honest with you. Here, which now looks like an apartment building, was where the old Planet Hollywood used to be. And I miss the old Planet Hollywood. They had an arcade down there, good food. We would try and go down there whenever we can. It is so different and clean looking now. I mean, the 90s honestly was somewhat of a hot mess down here, especially in Deep Ellum. I'll show you guys Deep Ellum's where as well. There's no place to really live in the West End. Let me take you out of this, and while we're on the topic, so like yeah, here's the West End, uh, right here, but and then all this Main Street commerce, office buildings, hotels, and some places to rent. Deep Ellum, however, the major hot mess of the 90s, and even lately, some people are out here acting wild. This is on the other side of I-45. Okay, so this is underneath the bridge. Boy, the bridge. If we started there, goodness gracious, probably shouldn't start at the bridge. But all right, let's see which way we are facing. Um, let's jump out to Commerce. Here's the bridge. So coming out of downtown Dallas, you can kind of see where this is an entertainment district. This is where we enjoy our live music. It's been this way for decades and decades in DFW. Good dining down here. Now, this is mind-boggling to see. They're starting to, the developers are bringing money into Deep Ellum, and they're changing a little bit of the landscape. We're not used to any sort of big buildings in Deep Ellum. Deep Ellum was all 1 and 2 story buildings full of restaurants, dives, pubs, and yeah. So um, going down Commerce Street or Main Street in Deep Ellum looks way different than it used to. The vibe down here is organic. If you guys are moving from San Francisco or San Francisco or Seattle, Oregon, and you move to a place like McKinney, and you're like, man, this just doesn't feel right. If there's something that's stirring deep inside you that does not feel the organic energy, you need to make Deep Ellum like a part of your life and come down here like once a month to kind of get you out of the suburbs and got to get you right. Okay, this is where you want to be to help you feel more at home. More at home. Um, DFW has something for everybody, genuinely. And it's really important that you know that as much of our vibe has been manufactured up in the suburbs, the opposite is true down here. And oh, what a beautiful mural on the side of that building. That's not a mural. That is somewhat of a canvas. I thought it may have been painted up there. Nonetheless, lots of good restaurants down here, and nights and weekends. Yeah, it's a yeah, it's a vibe down here. Nights and weekends. All right, so that is Deep Elm. Now, there's a medical district down there, but we're not going to get into that. You should know that the areas around Deep Elm, okay, is there's a lot of residential. Now, if you guys are feeling, oh, geez, I can't even omit that. Let me go here a little bit. We'll talk about Uptown in a little bit. On the residential front, if you feel like you have to have mid-century modern or historic in your bones, if you have to have that, you're not going to want to move to Dallas suburbs. You're going to want to move to a place like Dallas proper or Fort Worth proper. And there's some areas that have uh, the homes that we're talking about, and historic and mid-century modern. But down here it's going to be just like way more historic. Let's see if I can drop you into a place. Of course. Let me see. Let me take you to Gaston Ave, Munger Place. These are all different neighborhoods, old East Dallas that you guys have to learn a little bit. Let's take you over to Munger, and then we'll take you to the M Street. So we got old restorations, beautiful mid historic. I don't even want to say mid-century modern. We're actually before that. We're talking about colonials, craftsmen, Tudors, and bungalows. Okay. Um, there's your craftsmen, and yeah, there's your craftsmen. All right. So if you absolutely have to have um, something like this, I'm sorry, you're just not going to find it up in the suburbs or down in the suburbs. You're not going to find this in DeSoto or Duncanville either. You're just not. You may find it in downtown McKinney. We'll get to that in a little bit, but lots of money going into these areas as well. So we'll talk about Old East Dallas, Munger Place. Very important to identify the M streets as well. The M streets is let me take you to them. The M streets are these guys right here. In let's talk about the prices. Tommy, how much? How much? All right, this is kind of where we were just at. Yeah, I'm not keeping it under 500,000. Let's go from 700 to a million. 650. Okay. You understand this isn't even updated. What on earth are we doing? Um, let's go to the 700 guy. All right here. All right. So you've got some new construction is not totally not what I'm trying to show you. Let's go to 900. 700 and 900. Why the lot? Lots of lots down here. New construction. It's totally revamped. There's what we're looking for. Yes. Three bed, three bath, of course, on Swiss Ave, and you can see the style. We understand. Yeah, it's a vibe down there. Now, similar to what you're going to get in the M streets, which I was just about to show you. All right, so the M streets include um McComas, Mercedes, Morningside, Merrimack. The M streets, it's another vibe. Craftsman, it's like Tudor, bungalows. Um, Honestly, there are more Tudors than bungalows, aren't they? Not many craftsmen up here. So, yeah, so your historic stuff. Like we haven't even DFW was built in rings. Like most major cities. You have where the land was settled on, be it 1600, 1700, 1800, whatever, kind of 1900-ish for Dallas, and then it built in rings. This is just Texas history here. This is American history here. These homes were built in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. All right, so um, we can move up and see, yeah, 1914 for this guy. All right, so some of these homes, it's amazing. I'm getting so old. We're now talking about places that are more than 100 years old. I never even put that together. Move up here and we have a look at the M streets, and you have homes for sale like this. I want to see the age. Built in 1928. So, yeah, a lot of stuff in historic Dallas. All right, so we did that and we kind of skipped around. You see the east side and of downtown Dallas. Guys, there's so much to go over. Let's talk about where a lot of you are able to rent around downtown Dallas, and that's going to be uptown. Um, did I say just rent? Rent and purchase. State Thomas has a lot of homes for purchase. So, uptown is a collective of neighborhoods that really go north of Woodall Rogers. You can call it 366 if you want. Those of us that are from here don't call it that. All right. So, Woodall Rogers, this bridge that, geez, I kind of have to show you guys. This is uptown, and it's full of different neighborhoods: Lemon Ave, Victory Park, State Thomas, the Harwood District. Guys, it's just kind of special. McKinney Ave is there's lots of this is where the young professionals move. This is where the young professionals, a lot of people, this working district. This is basically a giant live here, work here, play here atmosphere. I don't know how easiest to describe it. Live here, work here, play here. Boy, I took you to like, all right, there we go. Yes, there's a lot of stuff on McKinney Avenue, but I gotta kind of show you one of the dividing things about uptown and downtown, and that is going to be, how best should I do that? All right. All right, let's talk about Clyde Warren Park. All right, so Clyde Warren Park is um, it's our park in the middle of freaking Dallas. It's kind of wild actually. So if we zoomed in right here, here's Clyde Warren, and it's this outdoor area with it's in the middle of a bunch of buildings, and there's kind of like a little event venues down here, lawns, playgrounds, this is food truck central for Dallas. There's food trucks there every day. There's a little bit of the There's a couple of restaurants down there. I want to say Celina is down there. Good restaurant. Yeah, Clyde Warren Park is pretty special, honestly. Maybe the most special thing about it is that it's built over Woodall Rogers. So if I were to take you here into the tunnel, oh, you're going to take forever to do this. Bro. All right, Google Earth, you are tripping. Woodall Rogers is over. Oh my gosh, Google Earth, you're so slow. The whole thing is built underneath this, uh, over this highway, Woodall Rogers. Okay, there. We're done with that little bit of history. So yeah, um, geography, I should say, it's not history. Yeah, so there is Clyde Warren Park. And as I said, Woodall Rogers is very much, and Clyde Warren Park is like the divider between downtown and uptown. Now, where you will find yourself a lot, if we can lure you in to become a Dallas Mavericks fan, is going to be um, the American Airlines Center. All right, so the American Airlines Center is, I'd love to show you, of course. Where did you go? Come here. Here we are. Here's the American Airlines Center. We got our big, beautiful Dirk Nowitzki statue. He deserves it. I think bobblehead Dirk agrees, right? Yup, yup. You ask around and they'll tell you he was the most important import into Dallas Fort Worth. He was our German import. Is that Mike? It's probably Mike Madonna. So yeah, here we are. This is Victory Park, Victory Nowitzki Way, and like so, you have to really focus on getting down here from wherever you're coming in DFW. Now, the other thing that's down here, so that's the American Airlines Center. I can label you American Airlines Center. Let's just call it the AAC. AAC. That's what we call it. That's what we call it. All right. So, also, the museums, they're right down here in the design district. So we've got museums over here in the design district. Oh my, get big. There we go. And I'm making those larger so that you all can make reference of where they are. All right. Nonetheless, I'll put a circle around them. Here we go. And here we go. So you've got your museums. You got AAC that are now labeled. That is just going to be entirely too small. If I'm being totally honest, I don't know that you're going to come into Dallas for much more than games and museums. You could come down here for restaurants, but if you move to where most people are moving, I told you it's coming. The growth corridor. If you move like somewhere up here in the growth corridor, you got your own restaurants. Or sheesh, you could move to Mansfield and you have your own restaurants. Um, Yeah, so the AAC, the museums. Now, let's talk about Fair Park, okay? Because the State Fair of Texas, super duper popular, and it'll be really important for you guys to understand where Fair Park is. I'm not going to get into like all the stuff that the Fair Park does. Just know that it's Texas's largest fair. And every fall, if you've got kids in elementary school, they're going to get free tickets to Fair Park. And um, some schools take field trips down there. You're likely going to end up going to Fair Park. If I'm you, I'm not basing my whole life around Fair Park, but you should know where it is in relation. It's so funny it says South Dallas, but whatever. I think of South Dallas as being down here. They have it labeled over here in East Dallas, whatever. But um, it's outside of downtown Dallas. All right, the next thing that I want to point out to you is the Dallas Arboretum and Botanical Garden. This is, for me, it's boring, but this is historic Dallas. Um, I've taken field trips there as a kid, and I think a lot of places around DFW still have their elementary school field trips that go to the Dallas Arboretum. Um, honestly, there's a bit of awesome there. I mean, I don't want to complete. I'm not like saying, "Oh, this slaps." No, I mean, for for me, there's lots of cool things to do in DFW, and for me, the Dallas Arboretum isn't one of them. That's just me. But you're not going to see much more stuff. You're not going to see stuff like as beautiful as you're going to see in the Dallas Arboretum in the Botanical Garden. I've just gone down to the foot level here, and yeah, this is kind of what I mean. It's cool to walk around, and it's decorated all sorts of nice, and um, the photo ops are beautiful with the tulips and the hedges, and you get it. It's a botanical garden, guys. It is on the eastern shores of White Rock Lake. And White Rock Lake is right here, just northeast of downtown Dallas. So the Dallas Arboretum, I'm not going to label it because that would require me to spell Arboretum. Here is where the Dallas Arboretum is, right there. So many different neighborhoods within Dallas. When I say Dallas has more than 200 places to live, DFW is what I mean. And I mean that we have more than 120, 130 suburbs, cities, towns, what have you. And we have a bunch of different, very popular neighborhoods inside Dallas proper and Fort Worth proper. So that includes places like Lower Greenville, Lake Highlands, which is honestly, we just kind of call all that Lake Highlands, and even, places over here to the west of to the west of White Rock Lake are considered Lake Highlands to me when I was growing up. Spent a lot of my life inside Loop 12. For all my original Dallas peeps, does anyone remember Penny Whistle Park? Penny Whistle Park was this thing for Dallas kids. It was like Showbiz Pizza, but they had rides on the inside of this giant building. Rides on the inside. Yeah, had some birthdays there. Lake Highlands, a very, very popular neighborhood. I already talked to you about Oak Cliff. Oak Cliff is going to have more historic. And if we had to talk about where a lot of the affordability is, it's going to be south of I-30. Now, this is, I'll just say it, this is working class, a very colorful part of DFW, organic vibes, and yeah, very blue collar. But a lot of white collar money is moving in, a lot of development money is moving in south of I-30. And uh, look, guys, I spent half my life down here. Um, should I show you guys Big T Bazaar? I'm gonna show you something real quick because um, guys, there's a place where I used to get my Sunday. where I used to get my Sunday clothes growing up, and here we are. We're in front of Big T Bazaar. Um, there in LA, you have your swap meet, and I don't know what it's called everywhere else. You got to come down to, and it says Big T Plaza. It's Big T Bazaar. I don't know, why no one calls it Big T Plaza unless they're new here. This is Big T Bazaar, and growing up, I would come here. I would, you know, Keith's Bazaar and get my Sunday clothes and my back to school clothes and my sneakers and all that. And if you want to, I'm just going to go ahead and shoot over here. If you want to really want to know what it's like, we all understanding. Do I have to? I don't have to elaborate, do I? Okay. All right. That's enough of that. Let's keep it. Let's keep it moving, guys. The Bishop Arts District. They have put up. They put up a lot of, and that is a sub neighborhood of Oak Cliff. It's not separate from Oak Cliff. Someone's got to figure out on these maps how to make sure that when people move here, they understand that all of this is Oak Cliff, which is a neighborhood of Dallas, and then Oak Cliff has sub neighborhoods. Bishop Arts District is one. Kessler Park is another. Um, the Bishop Arts District it's an awesome area, um, with lots of vibe, lots of older homes, um, and easy access to downtown Dallas. Lots of newer money has come here, and they got their own restaurants, and so all this area is older uh, is older residential, and they've got their own restaurants and stuff, and they're easy access to downtown Dallas. If you're going to work in downtown Dallas and you are moving from inner city, wherever you're from, Atlanta, Washington D.C., and you're used to being in, like, you're basically talking about, as far as Dallas is concerned, being inside Loop 12, inside the loop. Um, then this is a place that you're going to want to look. Trinity Groves, we can't just gloss over Trinity Groves. Um, New money. I don't know what to say. New money. And that means new places to rent, new restaurants. You come over this bridge, and you are going to see a lot of new restaurants. Love Trinity Groves. Delicious food down here. And if you're looking for places to rent, plenty of that just across from downtown Dallas. That's my city. This is what it used to look like about 15 years ago. And it's not from 2022. Trinity Groves has been around for at least 10 years now. That's the heart of Dallas. Let's move into the heart of Fort Worth, and I'm omitting Highland Park talk for right now. Let's move into the heart of Fort Worth. Fort Worth is a city that honestly is just, there's nothing in Dallas that is like it is in Fort Worth. You got, um, think of the homes as being the same. The closer you get to this nucleus of downtown Fort Worth, you got other historic homes, just the same as you do in Dallas. But as far as attractions are concerned, Sundance Square, how? How are we inside of a hotel? That was crazy. Why did that happen? That was wild. Let me just pop out here, bro. This just shows how much I go to Fort Worth. Thank you. All right. Hardly even, I'm not even in Sundance Square anymore. Yeah. If you want to learn about Fort Worth, you can research it. But You got the Fort Worth Stockyards as well, and Sundance Square. Lots of places, newer places to rent on the Fort Worth side. I don't think that a lot of you are going to be moving to the Fort Worth side of things in Fort Worth. You're going to move to places like Aledo. You're going to move to places like um, Saginaw and Keller, and you're not you're probably, if you're watching this video, you're either from here and you will move to a place like downtown Fort Worth. But if you're not from DFW, you're not moving into downtown Fort Worth. So I'm not spending a lot of time on it. But what you should know is this is where the West begins. If you are moving to DFW and expecting to see cowboy hats everywhere, you're not going to see that unless you are like in one of the fourth ring suburbs out here. When I talk about the rings of suburbs, here's Dallas proper, here's the first ring, and here's the second ring, and here's the third ring, and here's the fourth ring. It's like you're not going to see, here's the fourth ring. You're not going to see a lot of cowboy hats until you get out here. Not much in here at all. These are city peeps that are on the move. On the Fort Worth side, you're liable to see plenty of cowboy hats in here. That's the big difference. You're liable to see plenty of cowboy hats here in like all these suburbs. It's just that's the big difference. And Fort Worth, not too big of fans of Dallas people. I don't think we have anything wrong with Fort Worth. I'll just go ahead and admit, like I say, most of the fun stuff to do is on the Fort Worth side of things. Now, when I look at this map, I ask myself a little bit about what's missing. What is really big that you guys need to know about? Um, Again, we're going to get to these really popular places to move. I feel like it's really important for you to know where DFW's biggest attractions are. And yeah, they're going to be right here on the southwest corner of 360 and I-30. And, you know, here's what we are talking about, this just gigantic entertainment district that is uh, Six Flags, AT&T Stadium, Globe Life Park, and Hurricane Harbor. So here we go, guys. Yes, we are now in Arlington. Here's AT&T Stadium, not far from Globe Life Field. Honestly, not far from what they're now calling Choctaw Stadium, where um, I think it's the Dallas Jackals rugby team, and I think our minor league soccer team plays there as well. Um, so you should definitely know where these are. Now, Six Flags is a place that everyone, Six Flags over Texas, everyone in DFW is going to end up coming here at some point in time. So you just want to make sure you know where that's at as well here. In addition to that, a couple of our major universities, TCU, TCU is going to be over here. We're going to have SMU up here in University Park. Some of our other universities. Um, we just had a soccer tournament here not too long ago, last weekend. Right here around University of Texas at Dallas, UTD. Here's UTD. Dallas, it's got something for everyone. We're not done, guys. Oh boy. We're not done. University of North Texas, TWU. Those are two colleges up here in Denton, UNT. Mean Green, TWU. All right, let's get them on the map. So, when you're getting your kids up and out of the house, or you're moving here, and let's just say you move here and you've got high schoolers, you should know that we got stuff nearby for them to go to. TCU, SMU, two universities here. That's not including University of Dallas, which is down here. Dallas Baptist University. We're not talking about those. We're not. I haven't even brought up UTA either. So, which is University of Texas at Arlington. All right, guys. Now let's have a look at some of where the growth is taking place. All right. Some of the major growth that we've been seeing lately. It's happening out here in Forney. Forney is a city that mainly has homes that were built in the 2000s and the 2010s. Thousands of homes haven't gone up recently within the past 5 years, honestly. So here we are. We're outside the neighborhood. Let's zoom in a little bit further. I think you saw it's a little country, right? Um, but on the inside of the neighborhoods, you're going to get your brick homes. You're going to get your pools, your parks, your playgrounds, your fishing ponds. Most of the neighborhoods that you're going to look into, because so many of you are looking for homes that were built after 2000, almost 99% of the homes that you guys look into are going to have community pools, parks, playgrounds, fishing ponds. They're going to be a part of a homeowners association. All right. Now, this neighborhood's a little bit older, but yet it probably still has an HOA. If I were to pull up the Google satellite, chances are we're going to see the community pool in that neighborhood. Now let's move over to a major neighborhood. This is a community of Devonshire. All right, going into Devonshire. New homes from the 300s to the 700s. They got lots of different kinds of lots that they offer. Lots of different builders have helped to build up Devonshire. These are their homes out here on half-acre lots. Beautiful new construction. And of course, because this community was built in the started in the 2000s, it means they've got newer construction as well. Now, they have their big amenity center. Lots of space, lots of green space in the home, in the community. Like I say, new construction and newer construction. Now, here's a lot of another thing that I'll tell you about the DFW suburbs. For new and newer communities, they are being built by what I call the usual suspects. The usual suspects are the same 20 to 30 home builders that build all over DFW. Okay, so if I could pick you up and drop you into the middle of a street in Forney, okay, you look around here, all right? Now keep in mind what you're seeing here, all right? I could take you to a completely different city. For instance, let's just go ahead and say Celina, let's say Mansfield, doesn't matter where in DFW, so long as it's built around the same time. And it will feel exactly the same if I drop you in the middle of that neighborhood and you opened your eyes. You'd look around and see houses that looked just like this. And that's because the same usual suspects built 99% of the DFW communities that were built after the year 2000. Now, you may also ask, well, what's up with all of the brick homes, Tommy? Well, DFW was, I should say, Texas is one of the clay capitals of the country. Therefore, we're really just using our natural resource. Let's go out to Forney so I can show you some of their homes for sale. There we go. Same community. Voila. All right. Now, Forney is one of the more affordable suburbs. Good schools. Um, Actually, a really good location, with exception to that dang bottleneck on Highway 80, is actually closer to Dallas than a lot of the areas to the north. Suburbs like Prosper, Frisco, Celina are way further from, I don't want to say way further, but like an additional 10 miles compared to the drive that someone from Forney is going to have into Dallas. All right. But I just left a client's house and they're like, we've been here 3 years, Tommy, 2 years. We still haven't been to Dallas. We haven't like kicked it in Dallas. We don't see downtown Dallas. There's people that move here and they end up in the suburbs and they don't get to see downtown Dallas. Because every suburb has their own stuff. You don't drive into Dallas, downtown Dallas, for your nights and weekends. You do that for something super special. But honestly, if you wanted a nice restaurant, you live in Forney, you would just drive into Mesquite. Mesquite's got lots of restaurants. Um, yeah, so that is Forney. Now, another one of my favorite places is going to be Rockwall. Now, Rockwall's going to be a little bit more expensive. And, you know, you've got Heath, McClendon, Chisholm down here. Underneath Rockwall, um, Rockwall is going to be known for larger lots. There's just a ton of equestrian opportunities out here, but they do have their master planned communities as well. Okay, drop you right in the middle of this guy. I dropped you into an alley. Nice. Can I get over to the street? Yeah, here we go. All right. Kind of looks the same, right? A lot more brick homes. I call them Texas traditional. Um, Now, there's neighborhoods now, thanks to all of the Texas traditional. There's neighborhoods now and communities that are encouraging painted brick. Um, There's a lot more than I grew up seeing. There's a lot more painted brick. But yeah, very, very helpful for that community diversity. That way, not all the homes look the same. What is this? A new community I'm taking you guys into. No homes on that yet. Now, the special thing about Rockwall is it's right on Lake Ray Hubbard. A beautiful neighborhood right here, right? It looks similar to some of the homes that you saw in Forney. All right. Now, what you'll really enjoy about Rockwall, like I just pointed out, is the Harbor District. The Harbor, Rockwall Harbor, as you see it here. Really cool place with hotels, restaurants. Why right inside of a building? Come here. All of this is actually on the lake. Take me to the lake. Come here. Oh we're really just not letting people down there. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. See, we got our lake life too here in DFW. What a gloomy day that was. Wow. Oh yeah, if you're not familiar with our thunderstorms here, you're gonna wanna get familiar with that because those things they can go sideways pretty fast. So it's not you can forget all that stuff you hear about like tornadoes all the time. That's not it. It's the thunderstorms and the hailstorms. Isn't this cool? Yeah, that was a very gloomy day. Gloria's right there. Love Gloria's. So you'll enjoy this district about Rockwall. Uh, One thing that I will say, there's that Hilton right there, and we really enjoyed that. My wife and I, we had a staycation at the Hilton one time, and why? That's Lake Levon. Take me back down to Lake Ray Hubbard. I'm lost. There we go. There is this Hilton. Let me see if I can show you. You want to know about staycations? Here you go. An awesome place for a staycation. Where's the harbor? There we go. Now you can see this Hilton from I-30, just about from the other side of the lake. And that's what it looks like when you are coming over the lake. Really cool restaurant, lots of homes behind it. All these homes are really special as well. But this is super cool for staycation. Picture that. You live in Dallas, you don't know exactly if you can make it out of town, so you plan a staycation. This overlooking the lake with all the walkability and stuff down here with the restaurants nearby as well, lots of fun. A whole lot of fun if you live anywhere in Dallas, but you know, pretty cool if you live in Rockwall as well. All right. So that's Rockwall. So we've done Forney, we've done Rockwall. Let's go back to the. All right. A couple of the places to make note of. Fate, Royce City. Let's go into Victory Corridor. All right. Now, there's more than 200 places to live in DFW, a whole lot of cities. I don't mean to just gloss over these cities, but let's talk about where you guys are most likely to move if you're watching this video. All right. I've moved a lot of you here, and the main place that you guys want to know about is Frisco, McKinney, Prosper, or Celina. To a certain extent, you may be considering Princeton, Melissa, or Anna. That is a bulk of where you guys are looking at. So let's talk about Frisco. I kind of pointed it out. Um, there's some major thoroughfares that go from downtown Dallas up into Frisco. This one that I'm highlighting is Preston Road. And of course, we got the tollway here, the Dallas North Tollway. Um, Frisco is a third ring suburb of Dallas that has received its pop in the 2000s and the 2010s. Um, I say that because that's when most of the stores and the homes were built. So Frisco has a pretty good price per square foot. Um, that's not what I meant to say. Now in Frisco, you can get homes from the high 300s and up. There's no cap on it. I mean, Frisco has, homes that are, $3 million plus. So you can get whatever you want in Frisco. Now, as we look at it, I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis of the age of the different parts of Frisco. The oldest part of Frisco is going to be along Hillcrest, where you're able to get homes built in the 90s, and this is going to be some of your least expensive homes in all of Frisco. I did it again. I went to an alleyway. Get me out of the alley. Okay. So a lot of the homes in this part of Frisco were built in the 90s and in early 2000s. This is going to be your least expensive, some of your least expensive stuff. Um, Definitely down here, or same thing. We're talking around Hillcrest, um, and you've got communities like Plantation Resort, where they've got their golf course and everything as well. Um, so there's that. So this is going to be where you're going to save your money in Frisco, right here. It is possible, and there's nothing wrong with the schools there either. It's just the homes; those homes were built for $75,000 or $100,000 when they were constructed. So they will they just have a lower price than all the others that were built in 2010 or 2020. Um, all right, and so Frisco's got that. Frisco also, of course, has your brand new, really special homes in a place like the Fields development. I don't even know how much they have here on the map in Fields. Yeah, okay. Well, it looks way different now. That's kind of what it looks like right now. Fields is the residential component that is being anchored by the PGA of America. All right, so here's your Fields development. If you want more information about the Fields, all you got to do is scan the QR code or just give me a call or a text. You want to know where Universal is going to go? It's going to be right here. Not even all that big, honestly. Universal is going to be this. That's Universal. All right, so that's Frisco. Great suburb, great city, a couple 100,000 people plus. Frisco ISD is more than, oh geez, the border of Frisco goes all the way up to 380, so disregard that. Here's actually what Frisco looks like. Yeah, but Frisco ISD is a great school district. Now let's kind of look at McKinney. Believe it or not, Frisco and McKinney, they're only divided by this road. And you're going to have, which is Custer Road. You're going to have some homes that are McKinney but Frisco ISD, and some homes that are Frisco but McKinney ISD. Well, McKinney kind of looks like this. This is kind of what McKinney looks like. Now, McKinney's beautiful in that there are it was like the original Frisco. So a lot of McKinney got its pop in the 90s, in the 2000s. So Frisco's, even though they're right next door to each other, McKinney was developed, like parts of McKinney were developed a whole decade earlier. There was already master planned communities going into McKinney. And so you got homes that look the same as what I showed you in Frisco. So let's take you into Stonebridge Ranch. First, let me make sure I'm in Stonebridge Ranch. Stonebridge Ranch is a neighborhood. It's like a city within McKinney, and plenty of residential, a lot of retail. All right, so um, you should know that there's another reason why a lot of people don't have to get up and leave McKinney really for anything, um, because it's got its own stuff. I mean, when you get down here, it's just big. There's a lot of it's got a lot of its own stuff. All right. You know, when we talk about Stonebridge Ranch, here's Stonebridge Drive, more like a road or parkway or something like that. Um, there's the grocery and all that stuff. It's got its own stuff, right? Now, you may or may not have seen the Adriatica, which also is, you know, it's pretty popular. These red roofs right here, this is a district that was made to look like an old Croatian village. Sits right off of this body of water, this little lake in McKinney. It's pretty special and it's really cool. Um, you know, little Starbucks in there and shops and apartment complexes, little office spaces as well. And then across the street from that, you have the Stonebridge Ranch Country Club. You see the tennis courts and everything there. All that's in the middle of McKinney. I will say the Adriatica is awesome for if you link up with a photographer here. There's a good chance, and you live in the far North Dallas suburbs. There's a good chance that you're going to end up um, at the Adriatica taking some pictures. 'Cause I remember doing that one year. Blue Ridge, Princeton, come on over. There's I-75. I'll bring you over to McKinney. Let's see if we can show you the Adriatica. How cool is this? Oh, Starwood Cafe. They've got good brunch. So here we are in the middle of the Adriatica. So you can see they've got apartments, they've got shops. Really, really cool. Let's take off some of this. All right, let's move into Prosper. This is the place that I've chosen to raise my family, and I've got another video about Prosper that is a map tour, and it kind of looks like this. If I could draw straight lines, you would see that, you know, the border of Prosper and Frisco. Uh, it's Highway 380. Okay, so the really cool thing about Prosper is the fact that it's right on the Dallas North Tollway. All right. Um, Not mad at having 380 access either. Takes me over to 75. We go to church right over here. And it's a 25-minute drive to get to church. I mean, so that makes getting to I-75 20 minutes. There's sometimes that I feel like bypassing tolls and I'm going into Plano, Richardson, maybe even Dallas, and I'm just taking 380 to 75. There's times where I'm coming home from a basketball game, a Mavs game, and I'll take 75 north to 380 west. All right, Prosper's got a lot of beautiful neighborhoods as well. Um, the average home in Prosper was built in 2019, so lots of new construction, lots of new word construction. Now, I'll gladly show you a little bit. I'll take you to one of the most beautiful homes that you're going to see here in North Texas. Like, Prosper is very spread out, guys. Prosper offers something that not a lot of other suburbs offer, which is all this next to highways in a top school district. Like, this is insane. So, and Prosper kind of gives you the ability to get this, or like, yeah, kind of get it. You get what I'm saying? Like, this is pretty special, right? There's 10 gated communities in Prosper, lots of communities with that feature homes on an acre or more in Prosper, but then Prosper also has your master plan communities. On those others that I was just talking about, you're not going to get pools, parks, playgrounds, fishing ponds. No amenities there, but Prosper does give you, here we are in Lakes of Lacima, Prosper gives you this as well. And this community, yeah, it's got it all. The most popular community in Prosper is definitely going to be Windsong Ranch. So we're getting to the, you know, the part of America where you got schools on the inside of the community. All right, so there's that, and then you got your elementary school. Here we go, Windsong Ranch Elementary, right here. And everyone rides their golf cart to the school. No golf course nearby. And I should have pointed out that McKinney, actually, McKinney's got a few golf courses that are very convenient. Um, TPC Craig Ranch, Stonebridge Ranch, and Westridge. Now Frisco's got a couple as well with um, Stonebriar Country Club and the Frisco Trails of Frisco. Here we are. So that is McKinney, Frisco, and Prosper. Now you see where it starts to get really green up here when we start talking about Celina. Celina's got a lot of land that is undeveloped, and downtown Celina is cool. Celina is affordable. Still some new construction up there, well under 500,000. Um, and Celina's got awesome neighborhoods, some of which are actually in Prosper ISD. Um, a lot of people, Celina ISD is nothing to sneeze at. Great school district. Um, but I will say, community like Mustang Lakes gives you a master plan community. You're like, what the heck am I looking at? I don't know why some of this blurred out. All right, this is Celina, but with Prosper schools. All right, they've got a really big clubhouse, 12,000 square foot clubhouse uh, in Mustang Lakes, and they're just continuing to find land to grow on and to build on. Also in Celina, but Celina ISD, uh, talking about communities like Cambridge Crossing up here. Cambridge Crossing. That's actually Green Meadow. I'll show you Green Meadow. The Green Meadows. Okay, newer construction, Celina ISD. You're going to see some prices. Let's jump around like the House of Pain. Oh. Ooh. Here we go. Now we're moving. Same neighborhood I was just in. All right. 575. Probably built in what, 21, 22, 2022. Okay. All right. So the point that I want to get at is the main thing that the developers focus on is number one, getting the home builders that they want or that are interested in building in their community. But what they focus on are the aesthetics of the community. What amenities do we want the community to have? And what style of the community are we going to be known as? Are we going to go with a rustic look? Or are we going to go with a modern look? And we're talking about community signage, community logo, if there's a community center, like what is going to signify the community? Honestly, guys, it's the real, if you want to know what DFW new work construction is like in a nutshell, that's it. It's all the same 20 to 25 builders with the differences in what you get in amenities and what the look of the neighborhood looks like. That's it. And the size of the lot. Now, here we are looking at Melissa and Anna Van Alstine. These are right up I-75, so I'm a fan here in that they've got really good highway access. Really good highway access. And they're basically suburbs of McKinney. Now, you see this guy here, I told you about McKinney National Airport. So you let me know what you think. Will these areas have more demand on them? Princeton, I'm going to include you. Farmersville, I'm including you. Will these areas have more demand because of this airport? I think as far as for as long as I've been doing this, people say the same thing. They want a house in a good school district that, or a house that's going to appreciate in value, and they don't want to be more than X amount of minutes from work or an airport. A lot of these areas give you all that. I mean, a lot of these areas give you all that. Once you start getting to the other side of the tollway, I think it's just easier to get to DFW Airport, and they're going to have more options. But this airport is it's going to be big for the area, and that will open. Let's see. Pause. 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 And what they're saying is that McKinney National Airport is going to have at least one big airliner. It's already there. They're just expanding it, creating a good sized terminal. They're going to have at least one major airliner in there, and they're going to start flying people in and out of that airport in a major way by 2027. When that happens, and like I just think that all these areas, Princeton, Farmersville, geez, everywhere out here. I mean, let's talk about equestrian here in a minute. All these areas are gonna benefit from this. All right, it's gonna be big. Now, if you were moving to DFW and you're looking for like some serious land, you're gonna be looking out, you know, 10 acres plus. You're gonna want to be looking in places out here like Blue Ridge, Leonard. You got home builders like, I mean, a big one I can think of is Cope Homes. Um, yeah, Weston, Gunner, Pilot Point, this part of Aubrey. Um, yeah, lots of equestrian and acreage on the outskirts of the DFW suburbs. Um, all right, so let's have a look and talk about Mansfield. Mansfield, much like Frisco, got its pop in the 2000s, 2010s. Mansfield's special because it's a suburb of Fort Worth, kind of a suburb of Arlington, but Arlington's a suburb. A lot of people, y'all don't want to admit it. Arlington is a suburb of Fort Worth. It is not its own thing. It's on the map. It deserves to be on the map. It's a big city, but you know, go figure. So Mansfield, here we go, right here. Easy access into Fort Worth. A little less easy access to get into downtown Dallas. Now, the easiest access from down here, Midlothian, goes into downtown Fort Worth and downtown Dallas, and you can get there in about 25 minutes on 67 or 287. Now, we could go in and look at communities, but you're going to see the same thing that I just showed you. All right, there's not just a ton different. You want to see what it looks like on the inside of one of these communities. Let me see if I can show you. Here's Mansfield in a nutshell. A little bit more affordable, somewhat bigger lots, depends on the community. Mansfield's great. Same thing in Midlothian. Although I will say I have seen in Midlothian a little bit, seen some larger lots in Midlothian. There's downtown Midlothian. Uh, they all have their own stuff as well, right? So let's drop you into a neighborhood here. They all have their own stuff. So there's not just a ton of variation in DFW homes unless you do it yourself. I mean, you can imagine how different a painted brick home would look here. So if you want more home prices, definitely reach out. Um, yeah, that's Midlothian. Flower Mound. It's forgotten because it's between the lakes. Flower Mound shouldn't be forgotten. A lot of you guys should be looking at Flower Mound. Fact is, you won't until you live here already, and then you'll start looking in Flower Mound. Flower Mound's a great location. Somewhat easy access to I-35. It's tucked away behind Louisville, and I think that might be why it's a good location in that it's kind of on Lake Grapevine, but it's not right by I-35. You got to go through Louisville to get there. But it's got a lot of homes built in the 90s. I would say that their major pop was in the 2000s. So well manicured, sorry. Ooh, okay, get me inside the neighborhood. Flower Mound is going to be my hidden gem for the day. Flower Mound is a hidden gem. Louisville ISD, great schools, mature trees, mature trees. Uh, Geez, they've got equestrian too. They've got equestrian. Start getting out in places like Double Oak and um, yeah, there you go. Yeah, equestrian, very Double Oak. Yeah, let me show you a little bit of this area. Flower Mound has got a lot. You can get whatever you want in DFW. Woof. You know, a lot of people ask about South Lake. I haven't touched this area. The North Fort Worth suburbs of South Lake, Colleyville, Keller. It's not really to be played with. These areas are opulent. I don't know any better way to say it. Lots of big money over here. but they're no different than other. Um, they're really no different than other upscale parts of DFW. You have some of the same, a lot of the same home builders that built these homes built other expensive parts of DFW as well. These areas are known for their schools: South Lake Carroll, Colleyville, Grapevine, wonderful school districts. Guys, the location, not a joke, right here next to DFW Airport. Trophy Club as well. Now, all this area, I mean, geez, you've got a lot of beauty out here in the Westlake area. I so want to take you inside of, I think it's that community. I don't think I can though. Yeah, these are old images, but you should see some of the houses that they offer in Westlake. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so look at these, almost like cobblestone. This community's pretty wild. It's developed now. I won't spend a ton of time over there, but um, Westlake is an awesome community. Can I get in here? No. They have a lot of gated communities, and you can tell they don't let you on the inside of them. Back up into South Lake. South Lake is purty for sure. Expensive prices as well. If I pulled up the Zillow, I definitely would. You know, I wouldn't be able to keep it under a million. We'd have to go over a million. Um, yeah, great part of DFW. Great access to highways and the airport. And, 45-minute drive to downtown Dallas for a lot of the people that work there, even though they're closer to Fort Worth. Dallas is where a lot of the headquarters are. Let's take you to my town now. Let's go back so I can tell you a little bit about me. Let me take you to a little place called Carrollton, Frankfort, and Old Denton. Let's tell you where it all started. Let's go down to Valley View. Did I say Valley View? Let's go over to Keller Springs. These country villas over here, via Cordova. Let's take you to the first house where little me came home. House number 2 in Carrollton. Now, Carrollton is a suburb that it's like a first, second ring suburb. Depends on um, if you consider Farmers Branch to be. It's Carrollton Farmers Branch ISD, so they have the same school district. People really started settling in Carrollton in the 60s and 70s, but I think of Carrollton to have been built in the 80s. Fact of the matter is, I guess it's just that. South Carrollton, like from Trinity Mills south, before you get to Farmers Branch, a lot of this was built in the 70s. Newman Smith High School, that whole area on Josie Lane, um, 70s. The further south you get your 60s and stuff. Um, I spent just a little time south of Trinity Mills. I remember when they built the George Bush Turnpike, went my right through Carrollton, and they had to bulldoze some soccer fields that we played on. We practiced on, and yeah, those went bye bye. And President George Bush stuck his road there. Um, and let's go down to, there it is. Whoa. Yeah, 3109 Birch Drive. That's my, these are my old stomping grounds. Um, Lots of pride in Carrollton. Like I said, these homes were built in the 80s. But the thing about Carrollton is, look at this location. Easy access to so many highways. George Bush is right there. 35 is right there. 121 is up here. Getting to the tollway is the one that took the longest. But for that, that's what you got North Carrollton for. Hebron is not a thing. It's actually just a road, but they make it seem, the maps make it seem like it's a city. Hebron's not a city. Hebron's just a road. I don't know why they did that. But here's Hebron and Josie. There's homes over here that were built in the 70s and 80s as well. Where are we on? Branch Hollow. Now, mid-century modern, guys. We did not talk about all the beautiful places in DFW where you can get mid-century modern. Carrollton is one of those places. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that. All right, I'm going to give you my favorite places for mid-century modern now. We talked about how Dallas has historic. If you are looking for more historic, I highly recommend downtown McKinney. All right, but for mid-century modern, this part of Plano, Central Plano, Carrollton, got you there. Far North Dallas, mid-century modern galore. And I'm talking about homes built between the 1960 and 1980. You could go as far back as the 1950, but really between 60 and 80. Richardson, big for mid-century modern. A little bit of South Garland as well. Mid-century modern. Lake Highlands, mid-century modern. Not every suburb has this. I mean, Prosper, you're not getting mid-century modern up here. Farmers Branch, Midway Hollow, your really, really pricey stuff. Yeah, that's your mid-century modern. All right, so let's talk about university. Let's talk about the park cities, and we're going to end the video here. Highland Park seceded from Dallas in what 1900 something. It's not Dallas. Highland Park is Highland Park, and Highland Park is special. They're really special for hand-me-down money, old money. Not that many people are moving from where you're living straight into Highland Park. All right, so I liken Highland Park to the Hamptons, honestly, on Long Island. It's the burbs, but very much a part, and Dallas is very much a part of the city. Wonderful academics and athletes come from Highland Park. Attorneys, doctors, oil and gas money, company bigwigs. I mean, Highland Park is special, and I don't know if there's another place in DFW that collectively has a better Christmas light showing than Highland Park. All right, and University Park. Honestly, guys, we love University Park because honestly, it's the home of SMU. It's like Dallas County's um, university. That is SMU is Dallas, so we love University Park. Highland Park, University Park, they make up the Park Cities. Now Preston Hollow, mind you, is Billionaires Row. You know, we're talking about um, the home of Bart Cuban and other super wealthy. Yeah, they call this area between 75. Where's the tollway? And the tollway. Um, they call this place home. It says North Dallas. This is Preston Hollow. Now, just to make sure that we hit all the top places that you may be interested in moving to, flipped over to niche.com to have a look at their top 10 suburbs to live in for DFW. Number 10, Parker. We talked a little bit about it, but didn't really touch on exactly where Parker was. Collin County. Homes on big lots out here in Parker. Homes on big lots out here in Parker. I will gladly show you a little bit. We have had a client that moved out here not long ago, built a beautiful home, and let's drop you right into the middle of their community. Looks a little bit like Prosper a little bit out here, doesn't it? These homes are going to be definitely over $1 million. There's some $2 million homes here as well. All right, so Parker, country estates, country suburbia. All right. Number 9, Murphy. All right, Murphy is on the list. Murphy is not far from Parker. A little bit more dense in Murphy. A little bit more dense. A lot of stuff in the 90s and early 2000s. And let's show you a little bit of Murphy. Boy, let's go. Here's your 2000s stuff right here. Great schools. I don't think a lot of you will like the location of Murphy. Deep in Murphy, you're really not close to any highway, even though they're all there. You got 78 here to the east, George Bush to the south, 75 to the west, but you're talking 15 minutes to get to one. And then, yeah, I personally don't think you would love the Murphy location. Allen. All right. We love Allen. Here you go. Allen being right along I-75. Being right along I-75, it gives you homes in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and a little bit of new construction. Allen is known for their location and their high school. Allen High, great academics. One high school, very, I don't want to say very crowded. They have several campuses for their 9th through 12th graders. Like they actually have a freshman campus, at least one. All right, so that's Allen. Plano. Plano is class, just pure class. We already touched on Plano. Boy, look at this map. Flower Mound, we touched on Flower Mound. That's over on the Denton County side. Frisco, number 5. South Lake, number 4. I'm happy I touched on all these. Colleyville, didn't touch on Colleyville a lot, One of those mid-cities areas just to the west of DFW Airport. It's hard to call it a mid-cities area though, because it's not close to one of these highways, 30, 183, 20. It's not. It's actually just a suburb of Fort Worth. Kind of country suburbia over here as well. Um, look what I did. Let's make sure that I land us inside of a neighborhood, please. Yeah, a lot of people aren't suspecting this in Colleyville. It says we're in Hurst. Hurst is a little bit older, but that's that mid-city stuff. Let's crawl up here. Let's crawl up here. Yeah, right off Lockett. That looks more like Colleyville. Expensive homes, expensive real estate. Grapevine, Colleyville, ISD, excellent schools. Wow, how old is, yeah, this looks more like Colleyville, but it also looks like a lot of other places as well, doesn't it? All right, that's Colleyville. 2, University Park. Yeah, we talked about University Park. And number 1 is Coppell. Didn't spend a lot of time on Coppell. This tells me that I should. Um, Look, Coppell is an excellent location, not far from DFW Airport. Um, Excellent schools, access to I-35, 635. It's just a good location. Very good location. All right, so um, there's a lot of 80s in Coppell, and then you got some newer construction as well. Why? I went too far west. I apologize. Too far west. And back into another alley. Goodness gracious. So, Coppell's got some affordable parts. Okay? Anything affordable, I mean, like under 500, under 400, it's gonna be older, gonna be smaller. Coppell's got that, but Coppell also has large homes on newer construction, close to I'm not going to call it an acre. Help me. Very close to where I was just at. There's Sandy Lake, there's Parkway, there's 121. There's a couple neighborhoods I'm trying to remember in my head. This is not the neighborhood that I wanted to be in, but here you guys have a look. This is actually not what makes me think of Coppell. What makes me think of Coppell, I've got to show you. Coppell's not far from Valley Ranch. And Valley Ranch is where old Dallas Cowboys used to call home. This is what I think of Coppell. When I think of Coppell, I think of your stuff in the 1980s that sits on a little bit of land. Look at these mature trees. Beautiful. Love this neighborhood. This is what I think of when I think of Coppell. Coppell's got newer stuff as well, though. If I had to pull these up, I would guess these are all 600,000 range. Let's get over to Bethel. Coppell's got some newer stuff as well. All right. This is just a little community. Not all Coppell looks like this. Guys, I hope this was beneficial for you. I want you to come back and check out my breakdowns. I'm going to do them once a month. Let me know in the comment section which city in DFW you want to see broken down with a virtual map tour. Talk soon.